Did you know that you can get a job while you're at boot camp? Yes, there are several jobs that you can get while you're at boot camp within your division, and if you're really good at it, you might help you get meritoriously advanced. So if you come in as an E1, a lowly seaman recruit, you can get advanced to a seaman apprentice, which is actually really nice because it has a nice little pay bonus in there for you. Yes, there are many jobs that you can take as a in boot camp, and we're going to go through them real quickly. Now, uh, these jobs, each one is kind of individual, and each one has its ups and downs to it. It really depends on what you want to do. You can volunteer for it, but no, you may get fired for failing to do your job well or just being a terrible sailor. It's okay. Everyone gets fired. It happens. Well, not everyone, but a large portion of people will. All right, let's talk about our chain of command. First off, after your three RDCs, you're starting to get into your division command, which is a bunch of other recruits just like you. Your first one is going to be your RPOC, or Recruit Chief Petty Officer. He's going to be a recruit just like you. He's going to be, very green, but he's going to be in charge of all of you. So he'll be in charge of about 90 or 45 to 90 people, depending if you're integrated or if you're just an all male division. Mine was an all male division, so obviously he was in charge of 90 people. Yeah, he did a pretty good job. He never got fired. He was one of our first. He came in on our second P day, and we all thought he was going to get fired, but he never did, and he did a really good job. So kudos to him. If you're watching, man, you're doing good. Yeah, anyway, he was in charge. Now, the RPOC, not only is he in charge of the entire division, he also has to march the division, which is a little bit of added stress because your RDCs will yell at you a lot, especially if you mess up, because there are a lot of commands that you have to learn very quickly. Like, you have to pick it up really fast. And there you will also be judged, and you will also be watched by FQA as you're marching. So if you fail, or if the division fails, it's on RPOC. And RPOC, you're going to get beat. I'm just saying, you're going to get a lot of PT on your own because you are in charge of an entire division and there's 90 people in it and they're going to mess up because you're human. I'm sorry, it's just the nature of the beast. But it will be one of those positions that will probably get you meritoriously advanced, and you get to stand up front during graduation, and you actually get to say your name over the loudspeaker, which is pretty cool. But there is a lot of work that goes into being RPOC. RPOC is a really tough job. So if you want to be RPOC, great. It's going to show a lot of leadership, and it's going to be really good. So if you want to be a leader, be RPOC. Next up, A-Rock. Not anyone can be A-Rock. A-Rock, you need to be able to sing and yell cadence while you're marching. It's Other than that, it's a pretty easy job. You're just second in command. You talk with RPOC a lot, and you get to sing the cadences. You also have to do some stuff during drill hall, but other than that, it's really not that bad. Our A-Rock was a pretty cool guy, so if you can become A-Rock, you got to be able to sing. That's really like the only requirement, and you also have to be loud and have military bearing. Pretty simple. Next up, the third in charge is the MA, the Master at Arms. He's basically the whip. He helps RPOC. He keeps control. He makes sure everyone's being quiet. RMA, he's really awesome. I'm still good buddies with him. He's here at A school with me. We're in the same class. He and I get along really well. Speaking of the devil, just make sure that if you're going to be an MA, that you can be loud, that you can be authoritative, and that you can keep people in line. Because, again, RPOC, AROC, and MA are all jobs that you can get beat on or, PT'd. Whenever I say beating, I mean PT. So MA, yeah, it's a good job, and it will also be one of the ones that can get you meritoriously advanced, which is really nice. Okay, let's talk about starboard and port watch. Starboard and port watch. Starboard watch is the more stressful of the two. Starboard watch, you are in charge of assigning all security watches and roving watches. So meaning you have to make a watch bill every night. You have to go into the fishbowl or shark tank, depending on what your RDC calls it, and make a watch bill every night. And it's fun, but it's kind of stressful too because you also have to make sure the security log is on point. So if there's ever a hit in that security log, it's on you, and you will probably get physically or PT'd for it, which is it's not good, but at the same time, it's good work, and it is stuff that will happen in the Navy one day. And if you want to have a leader position in the Navy, it's something you have to learn how to do. So it's good to get it, fresh from boot camp, but you will get some grief for it. Port watch or port side, whatever you want to call it. You're in charge of assigning people from your division to the mega deck or the quarterdeck. Blame my last. And when you're at the quarterdeck, you just got to make sure everyone's getting to watch on time. You also are, starboard and port watch are both going to be part of marching. You're going to be up front. They're going to say starboard section, prepare to march, all this and that. It's really simple. Starboard and port watch when you're marching. Starboard watch is more stressful though because you have more responsibility. Port watch, you got some stress and no one really wants to see you because you're going to give them a watch. But hey, it's got to be done. I understand. I love our port watch. He's a cool guy. And starboard watch. Next up, you're going to have yeoman. Yeoman is in charge of all the paperwork and making sure people get checked in and out and get where they need to go. It is a really stressful job. Our yeoman did a fantastic job. We had three of them. We had a head yeoman, a medical yeoman, and appointment yeoman. I can't remember what the third one was, but they all did a fantastic job. We had a lot of yeomen get fired though, and come in and out and get rehired. It was it was a revolving door of who's going to be the yeomans today. But anyway, yeoman. It's a really heavily needed job. You are going to become pretty good friends with your RDCs, and when I say friends, I mean they are going to be yelling at you a lot. But you won't really get or PT'd that much, and you also get to get out of a lot of other things that you wouldn't normally want to do. So it's a give and take, but it's definitely a good job. Next up, section leaders. Section leaders are people that are really good at folding and stowing and making their rack. They are also really good at marching. You're going to be one of the people that's up front at graduation, and you're in charge of an entire section. However, the things they don't tell you, you also have to make sure that everyone else in your section, in the compartment where all the racks are, you have to make sure that everyone's racks are made neatly and that everyone knows how to fold and stow correctly. So that's a little bit of an added stress because whenever the RDCs go around and are checking racks and something's unfolded or not placed right or they have trash or something in it, you're the one that's getting in charge for that. So sorry, that's nature of the beast. Next up, EPO, Educational Petty Officer. Educational Petty Officer, that's what I did. Might be because I'm a teacher, I don't know. But if you're an EPO, what you need to do is you need to make sure that everyone passes their test. And if they fail their test, they have a second chance. You got to study them up. There are many times where you will get to be in charge of the entire division, where you're going to be teaching them what they need to know, reviewing stuff from your classes. It's a really easy job. I never got beat for it. We got the Scholastic flag. If you do really well, everyone passes with I think it's 4.0 or above, you get a Scholastic flag. So that's really cool because you can march into graduation with your Scholastic flag and be like, I was the one that helped get that one. So that's really cool. Next up is Religious Petty Officer. They basically set up all the appointments for Sunday if you want to go to church and when to go and what services to go to. And I highly advise you do. It's a great break from the monotony of boot camp. Then you have the Head PO. Head PO is in charge of cleaning the head or the bathroom and making sure that everything is just right and that everyone is doing exactly what they're supposed to and that it's clean. They are kind of actually need to be tough because if the head is off spot, they get in trouble for it. And they can actually section off parts of the head to make sure that they don't get used. That way, you'll have to clean less, and it's not much of a hazard. That's what we did, and we got really good marks for it. So hopefully you do that too. Next one is the Athletic Petty Officer. You guys are going to be in charge of PT. Basically, you're just going to lead everyone. You have to be physically fit, and you have to pass your PRT the first time to get this job. You can't really get beat for it because all you have to do is just lead PT. You're basically one of those fitness instructors at the Y or from a yoga video or something. So it's pretty simple. Just get it done real quick. Then there's a bunch of made up ones. You don't, now all these other ones you get collar devices, like you get an E4, E5, E6, or an E7 if you're RPOC. I personally had an E5 as EPO, so depends on what you do. Sometimes you're going to get a 1, sometimes you're going to get 2 chevrons, 3 chevrons, what have you. But there's made up ones where you don't get a collar device on your chest, which is where they put ours. But you still have an important job. Like we have the trash PO. He's in charge of taking the trash out every night, and it's a tough job, but ours did a great job, and we never had a hit for it, and he's really good at it. So I miss him. Hope he's doing good. Then we also had, oh man, there's so many. Yum Yum PO. Yum Yum PO is you are in charge of reminding the RDCs when we have to go to chow. So I don't know if that's one you want. Typically, they give it to a guy that's a little bit more chubby. Just, I don't know why, but it's funny. So maybe if you want to be Yum Yum PO, you can be Yum Yum PO. There's also Asmo PO. So when someone gets Asmoed, you have to take all their clothes that come back from the laundry over. Oh, I completely forgot about laundry. There's the laundry PO. You're in charge of all the laundry, and you do get a collar device for that. But you have to make sure that everyone's laundry gets clean and back to them in a timely manner, because if you don't, everyone's not going to have the clothes they need for the next day. And that would suck because you guys get so limited clothing during boot camp. So you need that. Well, that's going to be all for now. Hopefully, you guys can get a better idea of what you want to do when you get to boot camp. And I highly advise you do take a job. It will make your life easier and harder in some ways, but in the long run, you'll be thankful for it. Until then, ciao.